Hello, I'm Alicia from the blog homegrown.com. Welcome back. Fresh herbs are in an abundance when it's warm and sunny out. You can easily go to your garden and pick some sage to add to your dinner, or clip the flower of a calendula plant to reduce inflammation in your body. But what do you do during the winter season when fresh herbs are no longer available? Preserve. When there are a bounty of herbs throughout the spring and summer months, harvest and dry them so that you can use them during the winter season. There are plenty of ways to dry herbs, and they're all so easy. Here are a few of my favorites. A great space-saving way to dry herbs is to hang them up. Gather them in small bunches, tie with twine, and hang in an area with ample airflow. This technique works well with herbs that have long stems such as lavender, yarrow, thyme, and bee balm. You don't need special equipment or a fancy shelf to hang the herbs from. I have used coat racks and even a dowel rod from a previous craft project with twine attached to it, and then hung it from a nail on the wall. A few other places you can hang your herbs from are a pot rack, a ladder, a hanger, a shelf, or even a wooden clothes drying rack. Another great option for drying herbs is to place them on a drying rack. There are racks that you can purchase online, but the easiest and cheapest way is to create them yourself. Simply take a wire shelf and then lay some window screen material over it. It's really just that simple. I found some plastic crates at a garage sale last summer, and I placed window material in each crate. Then I stacked them on top of each other and dried my herbs. Drying racks are great for so many herbs, things like mint, sage, lemon balm, and chamomile. To dry herbs more evenly, cut into small pieces with scissors. Some other great DIY drying rack options are a mesh hanging organizer, kind of like one of those that you would see in like maybe a dorm room or a kid's room. A picture frame with the center removed and window screen stapled to the edges. A metal shelf, a wire shoe rack, or even a wire baking rack. A simple brown paper bag can be an effective way to dry herbs. Grab a paper bag from a grocery store or a lunch bag. Place your herbs inside, leave open, and give it a shake once a day. The paper will wick away the moisture from the herbs until they are dry and crumbly. Using your dehydrator can be a convenient way to dry herbs. I personally do not prefer this way, but for those that are in a hurry or have limited space, a dehydrator can be a good choice. Place the herbs in a single layer on the drying sheet. Dehydrate on the lowest temperature setting possible. And remember that heat kills the medicinal properties of an herb, so don't leave them in the dehydrator for too long. Here are a few helpful tips to successfully dry your herbs. Number 1, drying times can vary. It can take a few days to several weeks depending on your environment and how thick the pieces that you're trying to dry, such as a leaf versus a root. You will know when the herb has finished drying when it is no longer soft or wet, and it should crumble in your hands and easily come off the stem when plucked. Number 2, when drying your herbs by hanging, do not make the bunches too big or the herbs can mold. Number 3, never dry your herbs in the sun. Number 4, never dry your herbs in an oven if you plan to use them medicinally. As mentioned before, the heat will kill any medicinal properties of the herb. And number 5, herbs typically have a shelf life of up to 2 years, depending on how you store them, of course.
Now that your herbs are dry, they are ready to be stored away.
You can store your herbs whole or grind them into a powder. Spice grinders or blenders are great options to create herbal powders. You can store your herbs in an airtight container such as a mason jar. I use all sorts of containers to store my herbs in, everything from glass mason jars to some of those jars with the gold tops. I don't usually recommend plastic, but my favorite are the amber glass jars made from ball. To label your jar, you can use a permanent marker or even a removable label. I purchased mine from Amazon and they're actually meant for freezer foods, but they work very well with herbs as well. Place your storage container in a cool, dark place. Sunlight can be harmful to herbs. In our home, I store some of our herbs in the basement and some of them in our kitchen, usually the ones that we most frequently use.
I hope that this video answered all of your questions about drying herbs. For more information about drying, storing, harvesting herbs, or just general herbalism, visit the blog at wholemadehomestead.com. Have a great week, guys.